and the Reverend Nick Porter, the founder and executive director of Jerusalem Peacekeepers. Nick is a friend, a colleague, a seminary classmate, and new to the diocese, so we welcome him. We are so pleased to have this opportunity to speak today about an incredible opportunity to be the missional church locally in a global ministry that makes a real difference in the lives of real people. Kids4Peace was founded in Jerusalem in 2002 with a mission to build interfaith communities that embody a culture of peace and empower a movement for change. Kids4Peace now serves over 200 youth and their families in Jerusalem, the West Bank, and North America through a 6-year, year-round program of interfaith dialogue, leadership development, and nonviolent action. And Vermont is a leader in offering this missional opportunity. So I'll pass the microphone to Nick, the founder and executive director of Jerusalem Peace Builders, to speak more about the structure and mission of this essential work.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So Lisa was talking about Kids4Peace. You all, I know you know about that because it's had a long history here out of the Burlington, greater Burlington area. Jerusalem Peace Builders is sort of married to Kids4Peace, and together we make that big system, comprehensive year-round program. Maddie, you want to change our slide real quick, please? So if you can see that, you really see our two big foci there. We're interfaith in truth, not just in lip service. We're work with all our young people and our families about their faith and how that makes us peace builders. It's a change of heart. Faith gets us to the change of heart. And then obviously we're working on this long conflict, this bitter, heartbreaking conflict between Palestinians and Israelis, but it also involves us, Americans. The Jerusalem Peace Builders, can we go back one? Maddie, you're faster than I am. Wow. By the way, forward, please. Excellent. So we're down in occupied Massachusetts, down in Brattleboro. We've been doing this since 2011. We run the camp for the oldest kids, 16-year-old youngsters. We get about 100 applicants for about 15 spots. This year we expanded to 30, and we're going to grow again. It's 2 weeks, it's residential, it's interfaith, and it's experiential. And these young people literally take a leap of faith. Matt, you want to change for us again, please? And it's fairly ambitious goals. And as Maddie will tell you in just a moment, our young people are on the go from about 7:30 in the morning till about 10:30 at night. And our goals are that they're equipped to lead peace building, they're committed to one another and to peace. Remember, these are 16-year-olds. They can't sign peace treaties. Maybe one day they will. But we're really working on them going from 3 families to 1 family. And we do that in a very unique setting. We're about strengthening interfaith understanding. If you've been listening to the news about Jerusalem recently, you know that's needed now more than ever. And spiritual resiliency, their own sense of religious identity and faith. And finally, we're equipping our young people to practice inclusive democracy, which is not a hallmark of the Middle East. And we're working on it with them. And we even, from time to time, have some illustrious volunteers. So I think Maddie's going to pick up our next little piece of our short presentation here. And I'm going to let her tell you all about the wonderful thing she does.
I apologize for my poor slide changing skills. So last night, as I listened to Bishop Douglas's reflection on the Anglican Communion, he spoke about how we together live in unity that celebrates our differences. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's exactly what I think about when I think about Kids for Peace. Because we're bringing people from different backgrounds, different religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, and you come together to celebrate your differences, but learn about how you're all human beings and you're all the same, and you can live in peace. So Nicholas just did a wonderful job of outlining kind of the Kids for Peace and Jerusalem Peace Builders' purpose and hopes for the future. And now I am going to kind of bring you through my Kids for Peace journey over the past 6 years to give you a better idea of what actually happens in this program. So I'm going to take you back to 2009 when I first began at a camp in, going back to a camp in Vermont, the Vermont Kids for Peace chapter. So this was a really incredible experience for me because I've grown up in central Vermont, which is a wonderful place, but as I'm sure many of you can agree with me on, it's not very diverse. So I had the opportunity to get to know and become friends with people who spoke different languages, who prayed in different ways, and who were knowledgeable about different things, which is an opportunity I probably wouldn't have otherwise had while growing up in this area. So that was really huge for me. And so then a few years later, I participated in the collaborative Kids for Peace, Jerusalem Peace Builders leadership camp, courtesy of Nicholas Porter, in Brattleboro. So this experience was really interesting because we had guest speakers who essentially flew in from all over the world. We had people who came and spoke about diplomacy. We had someone come in from Lawyers Without Borders and speak to us about peace and kind of what he did. And one of my favorites, we had 2 representatives from Combatants for Peace, which is a group of people who are active and inactive, but who were fighting on either side of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. So that was a really meaningful experience. And within leadership camp, we did a lot of what we call dialogues. So let me clarify, these are different from debates in that dialogues, the objective isn't to win an argument. The objective is to talk about it and gain a larger understanding of what others have to say. And there isn't necessarily always an answer at the end of it. It's kind of open-ended, but you gain a lot from listening to others' perspectives in that sense. And that's an experience that I can't even describe. So for the last 2 years, I have been working at a Kids for Peace camp in Houston, Texas. This is a second-year camp, so I forgot to explain earlier that there are first-year Kids for Peace camps all over the country. There's one in Seattle, there's one in Boston, there's one in Atlanta. We have one in Vermont, New Hampshire now. And so these are for kids around the ages of 11 and 12, and you have an experience similar to what I described earlier. So the second-year camp is in Houston, and it's very similar in the activities we do. However, you go a little bit more in depth about, you talk a little bit more about social and religious aspects and issues in Jerusalem as well as the United States. So we had people from Boston speaking about their personal experiences and people from Seattle and Vermont. And so, there's divided societies all over the world, and you can speak to different aspects of that wherever you are. So that was really incredible. As a counselor, I worked and developed close relationships with my campers. My fellow counselors and I served as role models to promote leadership. We planned activities. We sometimes facilitated these dialogues I was speaking about earlier, which was a really incredible experience. And not only that, but I got to continue relationships with my Israeli and Palestinian friends who I initially met at leadership camp a few years ago, because we get to work together each summer. And we stay in very close contact during the months in between camps. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about how the 3 different faiths are incorporated into our curriculum almost during these 2 weeks of camp each summer. So it's mainly based around the Abrahamic faith, so Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. We have advisor members who represent each religion, at least one advisor member, so there's never a camper who feels like they don't have someone there to ask questions to or to speak to them about their own personal faith. And so we definitely have a lot of education around those religions. We have the opportunity to watch different ceremonies being performed. We go to temple, to mosque, to church. We learn about the histories, we learn about the different holy books and the similarities and the differences. And it's not all curriculum based. I constantly come about campers having conversations about their own religions, which is completely unfacilitated by us advisors and counselors. So that's pretty incredible that they're able to make that connection. And there's also a lot of fun that happens. Aside from being academic, it's also we also do a lot of camp activities. Most of the camps around the country have host camps that we stay at that have lots of swimming, recreational activities, and that was an amazing ropes course from this summer. So kids are able to bond in that way too, and there are friendships that are created that I can't even explain, because it's just that bond that you gain through spending so much time with people and having that connection that really lasts a lifetime. So people like to say that we're creating peace for the future. And I think this is true, but I also see it, and we're creating peace right now, and it's real and it's happening. Each summer I see campers, counselors, advisors, people of all ages who participate in these programs, and they're creating peace themselves by just being able to listen to each other and being willing to participate in programs such as this. So through Jerusalem Peace Builders and Kids4Peace, we're breaking down walls of social and religious prejudice. And we're building relationships and a message of peace that has the potential to overpower violence and is overpowering violence and in Jerusalem and in other divided societies. And so I would love nothing more than to offer these opportunities to other potential campers, other people who would be interested in working with this type of thing. So by all means, if you know any 12 or 11 or 12-year-olds, let me know who would be interested. And so now Lisa is going to take it away and speak a little bit more about how you can help make this global change. Conflict in the Middle East has intensified. Last Wednesday, there was a violent incident at the Ammunition Hill light rail station, just a short walk from the Kids4Peace office, where programs were underway at the time. Yesterday and today, killings and closures are adding to the conflict. Again, calls for vengeance and retaliation are growing. In the midst of it all, Kids4Peace is offering an alternative. Kids4Peace staff are taking appropriate steps to ensure the safety of youth in constant communication with parents. All Kids4Peace programs are continuing, offering consistency, community, and hope as a sign that we do not give in to violence and fear. What can you do? How can you make a real difference in this global mission right here in Vermont? Well, number one, you can share stories. There is so much bad news coming from the Middle East. People are desperate for a glimmer of hope, and Kids4Peace can offer that hope. I invite all of you to join our gala event next Sunday at the Shelburne Farms Coach Barn. You will hear stories from campers and counselors, parents, and leaders from all over the world. Stop by our table just outside in the foyer for more information about this event, and pick up an invitation, RSVP to our website. All are welcome and encouraged to hear the stories and meet the people who are involved in this organization. The second thing you can do is to give. Encourage your friends to give. Kids4Peace is strong because of dedicated donors around the world. As we approach the year end, if there are people you know who could give $100 or more, please send them our way. Standing with peacemakers on the ground is a powerful way to make a difference. Give them that chance. Donate today at our table, or online at kids4peace.org. We also, as Tom mentioned earlier, have fair trade crafts straight from Bethlehem to offer for, we're selling them as benefit for Kids4Peace. We take cash, check, or credit cards. And finally, and most importantly, pray for peace. Every day I offer my hopes and dreams, our laments and fears, and I hope you will too.